What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I thought I would take this Sunday to do a different kind of market watch and look around the market and kind of see things that I personally would invest in. But by invest in, I mean whenever I'm out trading and I'm looking for filler or looking for things, I typically look for cards that I feel are personally very undervalued that at some point in time could easily spike or long-term go up. Yes, you don't always have to be flipping cards. You're eventually going to hit a point in trading where you have cards that you can keep to the side and wait on rather than continuously trying to flip and flip. A lot of duelists, you live at home. You don't necessarily have an overhead when it comes to your card collection or what you're doing with your trading. So it's okay to tie up some things in investments, and for the long term, sometimes it ends up good, sometimes it goes nowhere when you're going for basically the penny stocks of Yu-Gi-Oh, the lower end things. But a lot of the time, if you make your calls right, you end up 3xing, 5xing your money very, very well. So I want to look at some of the top heavy sets. That's Legendary Collection Kaiba, Duelist Saga, and also our brand new Dark Saviors, and talk about a bunch of cards. So for time's sake, I have us on TCG Player because I've got quite a few tabs for this market watch. Allure of Darkness, super rare, is a holo foil version. Yes, it just got a reprint with the common as well. So there's quite a few Allure of Darknesses running about, but every single holo version has managed to, over time, go back to $5. And this was sitting at, I believe, $2.15 the first time I suggested it, and now sitting at $2.63. You can see it's continuously just crept up, and it's likely to continue doing so. We actually have somebody holding the line at 41 of them, and then 200 copies down here with dabbers. So it's not going anywhere super soon. And because you can rip open this set and be able to sell cards that are much higher in like Engage, cards like this fall by the wayside because they're not what people are chasing, and tons of this is being open. But it's reminiscent of the Secret Forces, where we have cards like Manju that nobody cared about because of the quantity at the time. They were dollars, and now you see $6-7 solid on Manju. So the cards out of here that I'd be looking at are Allure and Toon Table. I've said that several times, and like in person, I'm sure people will gladly let you get Toon Table contents for like $1 from them. This actually, you see, keeps decreasing and decreasing because it's not being played in the current meta as much as people would have thought. People really are not too keen to toss this into every version of Sky Strikers, so people are kind of letting it go easier. But this card has always held value despite even having several common printings, and recently went up again. So it's a card I wouldn't sleep on, and despite the quantities out there now, I would be stocking up on whenever I'm trading or trying to get it in person for cheaper. Whenever people sell online, they have to use a stamp sometimes when they're selling, pay shipping in general, depending on how big the order is, you might use tracking. So they're paying shipping, they're paying fees to the website, etc. A vendor probably would gladly sell you this for $1 in person. And the third card that's really slept on the set is super rare, Reinforcement of the Army. Of course, if you can get the originals, sure, they're much nicer. But this card, imagine if it just peeled off the ban list to 2 or 3. Unlikely with Go keys running around, right? But one day, it could happen. And also, just to have for past format decks or have for older things, it's pretty nice to have copies of staples for the warrior archetype, and this still ends up in modern day decks here and there. So just something to consider that's super cheap that is completely unlooked at in this. So another example of Duelist Saga being overlooked is a lot of people might not like the look and the rarity. I know it's polarizing, but not to the point where it's like gold rare or platinum rare. But I have people that say, I despise Duelist Saga rarity, and I have others that are like, man, I freaking love it. You do want to be careful because the Euro prints are super bendy on this. But for example, Armitile Ultra Rare, $1.50 here. This is actually the wrong market price. This has always been above this, so I'm very confused why it has such a low market price listed on TCG Player, but $6.50 for the other Ultra, where you can get these for $1.50s, $1.60s. So you do kind of want to look around Duelist Saga. There's a lot of great value. Magician of Faith, for example, for your past format decks, GOAT decks, a holo rare. Starting, you could get both of these for $2.20, $1.50. These are things, again, though, in person, people will gladly ship for $1 if they have them, but these are eventually going to dry up. Duelist Saga It's not on shelves everywhere anymore, and it's going to continue. It was very top heavy at the start too. You had Trishula, you had Invoker. Both of those reprints got slammed in Battles of Legends, taking almost all value away from the set. Konami does that a lot recently, right? Like, oh, those reprints were so great, let's do them right again. So you get sets that were top heavy that have fallout like this that over time will probably go up. Hollow Tsukiyomi, dollars for GOAT format. Like, GOAT format's not what it once was, but still, this is a great buy at $1 in my opinion. And over time, as Duel Saga quantities of cards on the market dry up over the next 3 years, yes, 3 years is a long time to hang in there, isn't it? This will likely start to double and triple from where it's at. But more meta-relevant cards, right? ABC Dragon Buster, Legendary Collection Kaiba was top-heavy with Ash Blossom, the Hand Traps, and so many other cards that helped you keep prices cool. This is a great card, secret rare, and there will be times where ABC will likely get hyped again. Secret Rare Dragon Shrine, its highest rarity now. You have the ability of Blue Eyes players to obviously influence the market, as we have seen that casuals can flex on the market, such as the Millennium Packs and, not the Millennium Packs, the Legendary Duelist Packs, and now Legendary Collection Kaiba. Blue Eyes players definitely can influence the market, and this ends up in other decks as well. So Secret Rare, even though we have the Unlimiteds coming in, which are helping crush the market, I would consider going first ed on these if you're going for them. Next up, I've actually talked about this one, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon from here. $1.80 now, it looks like, for the Ultra Rare. I think it was, oh no, see, look, $1.15 if you find other stuff from them. So you can get free value, $1.50s. So you have relatively cheap versions despite its market price of $181. But if we look up all Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons, heck, the rare cost more out of a set. We have Duels Pack Rivals of the Pharaoh, and I believe the rare goes for a little bit more, $1.64, $1.75. So it's inevitable that the ultra rare will pass this price point if this was commanding that price, and it went down from the reprint from $1.89. We'll see the ultra rare push past and beyond it. We have Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, which the Secret Rare has a print at $1. There was a very easily accessible common, but the Secret Rare looks nice, and people have always liked this card from Retro Pack in Secret Rare, commanding ridiculous prices. So at $1, I could easily see this being $3 over time. It's a Blue Eyes card. Even if it's not heavily played, it is a sign of a movie. It's pretty darn good in my opinion. But I'd be going for this or this Dragon Master Knight, ridiculously cheap for a Secret Rare copy at a bunch under the 30-cent points. So again, a lot of these, if you're trying to rip them off of TCG Player, you have to find stuff from other vendors, but you might get this even at bulk prices in person, depending, and that would be crazy to me to be able to get that. But even if you're just spending a quarter, this is something that could easily become $2 over time. Now, something that I was very surprised about that didn't get bought out after the Master Rule 4.5, the time updates, Just Desserts. We have a potential for burn decks to come back, chain burn, with buffed up Time Lords to help chain burn. This is pretty interesting that we have it headed towards our format with Battles of Legend. And this is sitting at 60 cents for first ed near mint. 62 cents. And 98 cents, $1. It does quickly go up towards $1. But I was kind of surprised we didn't see a wave of buyouts on this. It's the highest rarity of the card, the only holographic of Just Desserts. It looks pretty nice, and I would not be surprised if this was $2 to $3 after time. Burn cards tend to go like that. Like, let's look up Secret Barrel, right? Like, Secret Barrel has a ton of printings yet. We see $2.60. We see market price $2. Near mint $1.62, and they have 20 of them. Like, there's several printings of like that, and Just Desserts similarly, I think the holo will be up to $2 or $3 eventually. Secret Rare Dark Arm Dragon from Legendary Collection Kaiba, I think is heavily undervalued. 67 cents, 68 cents, 70 cents. I'm gonna personally be getting a few for past formats myself here, but I think it's highly undervalued. You have the Duel Saga Ultra as well, but I don't think that's as revered as its original rarity was Secret. This is the closest. Yes, the Dark will be hollow foil, but I think this is much more reminiscent of its past self, but both aren't terrible to get, but we do see that this was, you know, sitting a little higher before the secret rare and just has a pretty bad sales rate. So I would definitely suggest the secret over the ultra on this one. Neither are terrible pickups, but I would definitely say the secret's better. Similarly, for past formats, Thunder Dragon just got new support out of nowhere with its fusion, but for GOAT format as well, there's interesting decks that play this. You get to discard it with Graceful Charity. People played Phoenix Wing Windblast in these kinds of decks to outlet more discards. It was a light automatically in the graveyard for BLS. Once you explore that format a little more, there's significance with Thunder Dragon. And it was an awesome pickup, you know, at like 50 cents, and of course it's spiking right now. It might cool back down, it might not, depending, but that new fusion's really amazing. But even at the $1.50, $2 mark, long term it'll probably reach back there, even if it calms down from where it is. But another example of a great overlooked card, Chain Disappearance, secret rare. How many times has the super gone to ridiculous heights and then not really been used in the format? But here you have the chance at them. 29 cents, 29 cents, 29 cents, like ridiculously low pricing for a holo foil of this, just because it's set, was up there. The next time Chain Disappearance gets hyped, likely $2. That's a 10x increase on your quarters almost. Like it could easily be $2.50 to $3. So this is definitely something I'd consider getting en masse. Personally, it's proven itself over and over to be hypeable. Eradicator Epidemic Virus and ultra rare, not the worst pickup, not the best pickup, but at its price point, highly underlooked, and a lot of people have said I could see this going to 2. Now they've already sold all the Liliths they need to, Konami has, but I could still see this as some kind of support for Lair, since Lair underperforms so horrendously that I could see them putting something like this to 2 and it getting really hyped. Of course, the secrets are then the better investment, but this is the cheaper one. This is playing the penny stocks. Low investment, potential high return. It doesn't burn too much if you lose out. That's how I like to build my side piles, and that's how I always did it. And the final ones are Monarch Stormforth, the super rare. Oh yeah, it's like nothing. Imagine if this peeled off the ban list a little bit. Then you have the Ultra as well from Legendary Collection Kaiba. I personally think the Super looks nicer. No telling which holo variant would go higher. I would almost think the super rare, but you never know with the market. Both of these I think are great semi-staple pickups. These still end up in decks like True Dracos, so I could see this getting played in the meta at some point, and just over time easily going to 50 cents, $1 over time. For the holo variants, it's plausible, but just imagine the madness on the holo variants if it ever did. So these are the kinds of things I think of when I'm looking at building my long-term investments in staples. And of course, a reprint can just come and ruin your day. These are examples. These are some of my hit or miss calls for the next 3 years. Yes, long-term investments. And that's not for everybody. Not everybody can just hold off a pile that's $100 or $200 to the side when you're playing this game. But I think there are things to think about getting as throw in trades to keep to the side. And over time, you'll likely see a decent return on your money unless it got reprinted into the ground somewhere. Unless Konami goes, that was a great reprint, let's do it again. And that does happen a lot. So that's why I like these low-risk, high-reward investments. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these kinds of market watches once in a while. Me looking around sets where I think there's something that would be undervalued, such as, I think there's a bunch of great calls in here. Just Desserts, Chain Disappearance, Allure and Tune Tables. I definitely think there's ones that will give you your money back over time quite easily in this market watch. But what do you guys think? Do you prefer not to deal with this kind of thing? If something's spiking, do you just buy it? You'd rather not hold on to the clutter, or do you enjoy doing stuff similar to this? And what cards would you be stocking up on for when I maybe do this again? Thanks for watching, everybody.